Nemesis.
Log number 3-11. Explosion can be heard by everyone and their mother. Security is alerted and they start to swarm the place, realizing severity of the occurrence. Special ops are called to investigate what went down in the chambers, follow up on Iberian's disappearance. It will take them some time to scan the remains of the room, reconstruct the crime scene, dig up the evidence, verify who the charred, blown up bits belong to. The whole planet is placed under curfew. Nobody is allowed to leave or enter. Needless to say, the card tournament is indefinitely suspended. My injured sorry ass is stumbling down some desolate alleyway of Kino, on the verge of collapsing, until I feel a pat on my back. A lady dressed in vermilion garb, covering everything but her eyes, is signaling me to follow her, saying she knows someone that could help me. Last woman who entered my life brought nothing but disaster to my humble table, but unfortunately I do not seem to have much choice, as escaping Kino on my own will be impossible in the current state of affairs. These women would be the death of me. I'm being led through the secret pathways, hidden doors, the behind the scenes of the planet if you will, until we reach the establishment. The tones and colors indoors perfectly match the attire of my lady guide. Different shades of red, making this place look like the house of love, site of passion, palace of lust. And when the curtains of mystery are drawn, soon after I learn that this place is run by none other than Maxine Hollows, an old partner I've known from time. Makes sense. Who else would come to my rescue in a trying time? The badass of a woman that decided to quit her old life and start anew, the same way I did. She runs a top-class bordello that caters to elite clientele, the only type on Kino. But what I didn't realize at first is that the lady who picked me up in the alleyway, like a thrown-out stray cat, is actually an android, and so is everyone else working at the establishment. Sagsbots is a derogatory term someone would use to call them. They start becoming mainstream lately, providing a more unique experience of pleasure. Professionals capable of performing more tricks than your average casual encounter. I digress. Back to Maxine, a madam who treats her working girls with the most care, which doesn't require much but an on-time scheduled maintenance. There is one more person that helps out at the bordello, whom I haven't had the pleasure to meet prior, but I'll get back to that later. Maxine welcomes me with the warmest embrace. She tells me how girls are her eyes and ears on the planet. They always know what the VIPs are up to, and Iberian was no stranger to this place. She was informed about my presence on the planet soon as I made contact with him, and she was thrilled to see me again, hoping it would be under different circumstances. 3 of her girls were scheduled to pay a visit to Iberian's chamber later on, which naturally never happened since it was blown up, but one of the girls found me instead, picked me up, and brought me here.
Judo, you look like shit. I haven't seen you in ages, ever since you disappeared on us, but deep inside, I always knew you were still alive. What kind of a mess did you get yourself into this time?
Wish I knew myself. The deeper I dig, the more confused I get. But you should have seen the other guy. It's nothing but a deep scratch or two. You've seen me worse, and helped me out before when my ass was on the line. I barely managed to pronounce the words with my broken jaw.
Well, first off, before we dive in the pool of nostalgia, old memories, and can properly catch up on the last however many years we haven't seen each other, we need to get you cleaned up and dress your wounds. Garments are soaked in blood combined with sweat, roasted in smoke. The infections and permanent damage are imminent if you were to continue like this, and then we need to get you hidden. The officials will be knocking on our door, asking questions in no time, so you better hurry your ass up.
Of course, what could be a better place to hide than in plain sight? Before long, the adrenaline had worn off and my body collapsed, in a dire need of rest and rehabilitation. And it happened like clockwork. They did come, they asked their questions, they searched the premises, but if a smart woman wants to hide something, it will never be found.
Nemesis.